This is the Khmer Times News. My name is Paolo Bonini and these are your headlines. Korean man's murder exposes online scam dangers. A man murders his own wife and his 9-month-old child in the most vile of ways. And 900,000 people are looking for help as their future is far from certain. But firstly, our headline story. A recent murder of a foreign national has led to the exposure of how deadly scam centres are. South Korean student's murder blows lid off online scam operation. In an update to an ongoing story, the horrifying murder of a South Korean man has yet again focused the spotlight back on scam call centres. Centres that pull in billions of dollars every single year. The latest update on this case is the Cambodian Ministry of Interior has announced major developments into the murder of the South Korean national, leading to the discovery of an online fraud network operating within the kingdom. The case has raised concerns about the safety of expats and of visitors within Cambodia. According to the ministry's spokesman, Tok Sok Ha, police had discovered the body of Park Min Ho, who was just 22 years old, inside a vehicle abandoned on August the 8th. Park had arrived in Cambodia on July 17th, reportedly for academic travel. The autopsy results confirmed that Min Ho had died of a cardiac arrest due to severe physical assault. His body showed signs of extensive trauma, suggesting that he had been beaten over an extreme length of time. There was no casual beating that went a little too far, but a prolonged torture. Police have now arrested 2 Chinese nationals, Li Jim-eng, who's 35, and Su Ren-shi, who's 43. A police raid on the men's property uncovered evidence linked to the murder, as well as legal online fraud operation. The suspects are to be charged with murder and cyber fraud. The ongoing fight against cybercrime has led to another life being lost. And again, Cambodia's reputation has been tarnished by these men who will stop at nothing to run their lucrative scams. On this week's Crime Desk, a man kills his wife and child in a truly horrifying manner. Another man kills his own grandmother to gain the love of his girlfriend, and border guards arrested for human trafficking. We opened this week with the death of a Korean man linked to cybercrime. And a part of those criminal networks is, of course, human trafficking. Their ability to be able to lure people with false job opportunities and promises of easy money. For they are the very lifeblood of these criminal gangs. So when this headline appeared, it was yet more unwelcome news. 6 border police officers arrested for human trafficking. 6 Banteay Minche police officers have been arrested in connection with aiding people to cross illegally. The Banteay Minche military police this week arrested 6 border police officers for allegedly facilitating the trafficking of Cambodian migrant workers into Thailand. According to the report of the Banteay Minche Provincial Police, the 6 suspects, including 3 very senior officers, all with the rank of Major, a Major Suksam, a Major Pomden, and Major Prumpo, who are all deputy chiefs for the Land Border Protection Police, based in Banteay Minche. Major Sereth, a deputy commander of the military police, said that the 6 were arrested at about 9 p.m. on Wednesday, in a scene that would have surprised all who witnessed it, as armed forces raided the Olong Hong border checkpoint and they detained the 3 majors as well as other border officials. In a statement, it was said that the 6 border officials have been helping human traffickers to traffic both Cambodians as well as Thai nationals across the border illegally, which basically makes the whole point of a border worthless. The men have been sent to Banche Minche military headquarters for further questioning, and now they will have some very stern questions to answer. Now to a case that leapt off the page at me. I honestly could not believe this headline when I read it, as it is so very callous. Are you ready for this one? A man killed his own grandmother for gold necklace so he could give it to his girlfriend. Cases don't get more twisted than this, as a man has now been arrested for the brutal slaying of his own grandmother for a small gold necklace. The suspect was arrested in Ratanakiri province. The suspect himself is Pyumve Na, the 28-year-old male residing in Sihanouk province. The crime itself, though, took place at 6:30 p.m. at that grandmother's house. The young man wanted to gain the favour of his girlfriend and saw the old lady's necklace as an ideal way to do that. So he went to his grandmother's house early one evening. He walked in through the front door and then he violently forced the old woman onto the floor. He knelt on her chest and with murder in his eyes, he placed a pillow over her head. She fought for her life and she managed to push that pillow away. She was not going down without a fight. So the grandson cast the pillow aside and wrapped his hands around the old lady's frail neck and squeezed the last breath out of her. Her body finally went limp and she died. She was 89 years old. The suspect then grabbed the gold necklace from her neck and he rose and left the house, leaving her dead body on the floor. He closed the front door to the small house and walked away. In his hands was the necklace. Its value was just $125. The very latest on this case is the man now faces a life sentence for his crime. And he is placed in detention for some time. But behind him, he leaves a family that has been utterly devastated by his selfish greed. Well, it can't get any worse than a man strangling his grandmother to death for a $125 gold chain, can it? Well, yes, it can. It can get a whole load worse, as another man this week was arrested for the brutal slaying of his wife and their 9-month-old child. Villagers in Kampong Cham province are reeling after a brutal murder left a woman and her baby daughter dead. The horrific incident took place in Kampong Cham province, and according to a report from the Minche police, the victims are Srang Long, who was 25 years old, and her daughter, Leep Linda, just 9 months old. According to the police report, at around 3 p.m, the assailant got into a very violent argument with his wife. It turned out he had been drinking and was indeed drunk, and the alcohol he had consumed fueled his anger to unprecedented levels. As the argument continued, the situation spiraled out of control as the man's rage rose to an unimaginable height. In that rage, he went into the family home and he retrieved a large knife. He returned and he plunged it into his wife's stomach repeatedly. He then pulled her head back and slashed her throat, killing her where she lay. The baby fell to the floor. With the mother now dead, the man grabbed the baby and he slashed her throat as well, killing her almost instantly. But this rage was not yet quenched, as his 3-year-old niece stood there petrified as a witness to this unfolding horror, unable to move due to fear. The niece just stood there. It was then the man advanced towards her and he also slashed her throat. The niece, though, was the only one to survive. The assailant is named Sun Heng Leap, a male who is 25 years old. He is now in custody for a double murder that knows no parallel when it comes to barbarity. We finish this week with a story that, for me, is at the very heart of the ongoing border dispute, and that is NGOs alarmed over 900,000 jobless migrant returnees. Now, this is a silent story, as it does not have gunfire, nor does it have police slapping on handcuffs and dragging bad men off into jails. But its effect, it could be argued, goes so much further, affecting nearly 1 million people at the lower end of the economic scale. They are struggling to get by, and when you had not a lot to start with, it must be an appalling position to be in, and these families must be silently suffering more than we will ever know. The NGOs have called to expand cash assistance, provide emergency aid, and create more pathways for employment. 18 NGOs have expressed deep concern over the return of approximately 900,000 Cambodian migrant workers from Thailand, warning of very severe implications for Cambodia's already difficult employment and economic landscape. In a joint statement, the NGOs highlighted that the armed clashes along the Cambodian-Thai border have led to an unprecedented situation, surpassing even the COVID-19 pandemic period, when about 260,000 workers were forced to return home. The statement noted that many returning workers face severe hardship, including lack of food and access to medical help. The Ministry of Labour has announced in August that 190,000 job openings were made available, but the NGOs are urging the government to expand further and increase cash assistance to families of those returning migrant workers, including providing emergency food aid and other details. Now, Sun Massa, a spokesman for the Ministry of Labour, acknowledged these concerns and stated that the ministry will continue efforts to train unskilled workers and support poor and vulnerable people through further employment programs. But for many, the road ahead is far from certain, and those struggling to make ends meet know a worry and an anguish that most of us will never know. It's time to have a look ahead and see what the weather has in store for us next week.
And here we are at the weather, and as always I like to throw something in just to spice up the weather just a bit, and it's something very different this week because I saw a piece of footage whilst watching a YouTube video that goes from absolutely beautiful to absolutely horrifying, all in a few short frames, so I thought I'd share it with you, and here it is. Now look at this, we're in a forest, and it's the end of the day. The sun is directly in front of us. We're heading directly west, and it's rather beautiful, isn't it? But what's that wire, the contorted wire at the top of the screen? Well, we're looking down a Ukrainian drone, and that drone is hunting down a Russian soldier. And it's right now we see his final ever image on Earth. Now that is pretty shocking, isn't it? So, but it is interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you. So let us now go to the weather and see what that has in store for us. And we see, as I scan across, the temperature goes from 31 to 32, very stable across the board. We've got lightning, we've got thunder, we've got rain, and we've got more rain. The humidity stands at 95%, and the breeze is rather gentle and sedate at 6 kilometers per hour.
This has been the Khmer Times News. Please do subscribe and comment and stay up to date with all the breaking news by following us on both Facebook and Telegram. This has been Paolo Bonini, and that was the week that was. I'll see you next weekend for your weekly Roundup.